generally we found out that when kids have meals in school, that increases attendance and also attention to what they came to do. You know, they're attentive, as my vice chair has said, and he's an educationist. But we also accept the reality that whilst we may agree on the general principles of the policy, with respect to specific application, it has to be customized to the needs of that particular county and the reality on the ground. For example, it may be practical to have just a few kitchens in several parts of Mombasa and physically carry the food to every single school. You can't do that in Marsabit or Wajir or Garissa, because you'll be required to do that over an area of 70,000 square kilometers. So, and this is why we're working with our experts to see within the reality of our diversity, because counties are as diverse as they are, 47 of them. And whilst appreciating that there is need for every child in an ECD classroom to have a meal, how do we agree on general principles, and how do we then guide the specific counties on their ability to customize to their reality, right? So general policies, specific items on budgets, enrollments, and what works, what doesn't work, will be following from those general policies. On the issue of audit, my friend, we have no quarrel with the Auditor General. I want to make that very, very clear. But what we're saying is, you know, there's been this politicization of the bursaries matter, right? I don't know who is so determined that counties are barred from giving out bursaries. You know, in an environment like the one we have, where we're saying there's a lot of economic hardship, and we can see that the government of the day is doing its best to improve the economy, because we're also Kenyans and we talk to people in our counties and even in other counties. But there's still many Kenyans who need support to have their kids stay in school. Are we in agreement on that? And what we're saying is, fine, let CDF give bursaries. Question of constitutionality of CDF and whether you know, MPs should be doing quasi-executive work is a debate for another place, not for this press conference. National government gives capitation to those schools. They're even well-wishers, philanthropists who pay fees for children. Who is this person who is so determined that counties should not give bursaries? That's one. Two, all counties give bursaries through a structured process. They actually have legislation which was passed in the county assemblies by whatever name. Mostly they call it County Bursaries Fund. So it's a fund established under the law with a board and a CEO. And that fund is audited every single year. We actually go to PIC, the Public Investment Committee of the Senate, to discuss audit reports of all funds, whether they're business incubation funds or bursary funds. So we're wondering, why are we being now ambushed with this other sample of 6 counties selected? If we're being told that those counties were found to have done something wrong and they are under special audit or investigation, it's a different matter. But you just don't wake up and say, we want to see how this works with these 6 counties, and we're going to look at the last 4 years. Yet, the law is very clear under Article 229 and also the Public Audit Act that audits must be done within 6 months. The audits we've been asked to do go all the way back to 2021. Some of these governors were not in office in 2021. So this is what we are raising. And such things also ought to be discussed before they are done. What is the aim? Right? What are we trying to achieve? Because even audit has rules.
And we are working on a school feeding policy, because in the past, counties have been providing feeding programs to the children, but in a more in a manner that is not harmonized. It's quite fragmented. And so this step that we are working with our partners, and of course as a committee, is a step to make sure that we harmonize how we feed our children across the 47 counties. The Committee of Education is not working alone, but we are working also with the Committee of Agriculture, and you can see Ken Losaka is here. We're also working with the committee, the legal team, and also we are working with health team, and together with our partners, Food for Education. Our intention at the end of this session, or the 2 days we are here, is to ensure that we have come up with a robust feeding policy that will be speaking to the children across this nation. Secondly, we have also brought on place, we have also Senate, and the Chair Education Committee of Senate is here, because we know the critical role the Senate does on matters oversight and protecting the vulnerable. And so this conference that we are having today is very critical in the sense that it will be the first that will come with a school feeding policy that will be able to guide how we operate.
It is important that as we look into how devolution has worked, we look at the key milestones that have been achieved around the functions that really had not had any support from the national government. One of them is the ECD function. Since time immemorial, Kenya has never had that kind of policy and effective establishment of a vibrant and working ECD function, much of which has relied on donors, much of which has relied on the religious bodies. But now that counties have come in, devolution has come in, is a function that is really running. And going around the country, you will be able to see a lot of infrastructure that has been done. But now we are going to the core. That is addressing the issue of attendance, because a child can attend and not be attentive, but we can now have full attendance and full attention by providing the meals. And therefore, this is a step that we really must encourage. On the other aspect which the Chair has spoken about is about the Auditor General intending to backtrack on what the law says. And this one, as a Council of Governors, we stand firmly with the Constitution and with the law that you can only audit what needs to be audited within 6 months of the preceding year. Unfortunately, we have received information that, for a reason, with no clear parameters set, certain counties, about 6 of them, will be re-audited, because they have always been audited for over the last 4 years to try and find out the success and performance audit of certain functions. And our question should be, since time immemorial, since devolution and the onset of devolution, the counties have undertaken very many functions, not only bursary and ECD. They have done very well in health, they have done very well in agriculture, they have done very well in water. Why are we not auditing all the other functions? And we are focused specifically on bursaries, which is a controversial issue. And the answer should be, county governments are not crazy entities. They step in to offer bursaries because there is a need.
They are following what the policy says. We've already done an oversight in some counties, and I'm happy to say that this particular function of feeding program, where the counties are feeding, are doing this feeding program, the enrollments are up. The kids are doing better, because you all know that to keep the young ones for hours in class without food or without eating anything, we all come from different regions, some parents are not able to give their young ones food to go to school with. So that feeding programs comes in very, very importantly for these kids to be able to be kept in school.
Food for Education is a school feeding organization that feeds over 500,000 learners every day within this country. And we are here today to partner with the Council of Governors to support and collaborate on a model policy that will ensure that county governments have the frameworks in place to contextualize how to institutionalize school feeding across this country. So we are grateful to the council for this opportunity, and we remain committed to partnering with them as well as the other county governments we work with to ensure that no child in this country goes hungry. Thank you so much.